This is your old self, the repetitive thoughts that cycle through your mind, the emotions you continuously relive over and over again, the memories you refuse to let go of and release. And as long as you continue to carry this burden with you, your reality simply cannot shift or transform in any meaningful way. The weight I'm talking about isn't always something you can see or touch physically. Most of the time, this weight remains completely invisible to the naked eye, a silent, heavy load that you've been carrying around on your shoulders for years and years. But make no mistake, it's definitely there, showing up in very real ways throughout your daily life. You can feel it in that familiar tightness that grips your chest every single morning when you wake up. You hear it in that persistent voice inside your head that constantly whispers, "Don't expect too much from life." You recognize it in those behavioral patterns you swore to yourself you'd never, ever repeat again, but somehow you ended up doing them anyway, almost automatically. Your old self, a living frequency. This old version of yourself doesn't just live in your memories or your past experiences. It lives deep within your nervous system, embedded in your body's chemistry, showing up in thousands of micro decisions you make throughout each day. It's not merely a collection of past events that happen to you. It's actually a specific frequency, a vibrational pattern that you're broadcasting out into the world around you. And just like a song that gets stuck on an endless loop, playing the same melody over and over again, your old self keeps playing its familiar tune repeatedly, while your biggest dreams and deepest desires remain sitting on pause, waiting patiently for their turn to finally come alive. Here's the truth that nobody really tells you straight up. You absolutely cannot step into your new life, your dream reality, while simultaneously being loyal to the energy and vibration of your past experiences and old identity. Most people walking around this planet don't even realize this fundamental truth about manifestation and reality creation. They genuinely try to manifest their desires by thinking differently, by creating detailed visualizations in their mind, by writing out scripts of their ideal life on paper. But underneath all of those surface level techniques and practices, they're still fundamentally being the exact same person they've always been. They're still waking up in the same emotional state every morning, still remembering and replaying the same old story about who they are, still expecting the world around them to magically shift and transform while they stay energetically identical to who they were yesterday, last week, last year. The survival identity that's holding you back. Let's get brutally honest with ourselves for a moment here. That identity you call your old self, it was originally built for one primary purpose and one purpose only: survival in a challenging world. It was carefully crafted and constructed during moments of pain and difficulty, created as a direct response to experiences of rejection, failure, and deep disappointment that you've encountered throughout your life journey. You didn't consciously choose this identity with deliberate intention. Rather, it emerged as a reaction, a defense mechanism, a protective mask that you learned to wear to shield yourself from further hurt. But here's what happened over time. That temporary mask slowly became familiar to you. It started feeling comfortable and safe, like an old sweater you've worn for years. Eventually, you completely forgot that it was even a mask in the first place, and now it feels like this is just who you are at your core, your true, unchangeable nature. But what if I told you something revolutionary? What if that voice in your head that keeps saying, "You're not ready" or "That's too risky," isn't actually truth or reality at all? What if it's simply just the voice of a past version of yourself, an old self that you haven't released and let go of yet? The quantum field is listening to your state of being. Quantum physics teaches us something absolutely revolutionary and paradigm shifting about the nature of reality itself. Reality doesn't exist independently out there, separate from us as neutral observers watching from the sidelines. Instead, reality actively responds to the observer, not because you're cursed or unlucky, not because you're somehow doing manifestation wrong or inadequately, but simply because the quantum field is loyal to coherence, to consistency, to matching vibrations. And you, my friend, are the tuning fork that sets the frequency, the signal that determines what reality reflects back to you. You don't manifest what you consciously want or desire with your thinking mind. Instead, you manifest precisely who you're being on an energetic, vibrational level throughout your day. Unbecoming, the real path to transformation. That's exactly why this deep inner work we're doing together isn't about becoming someone completely new, creating an artificial personality from scratch. It's actually about unbecoming everything you're not, peeling away all the layers that aren't authentically you, removing the conditioning and programming that was never yours to begin with. The old self desperately wants to keep you safe, protected within familiar boundaries and known territory. But here's the thing: safety, mere survival, staying comfortable is not your soul's deepest purpose for being alive. Stagnation, remaining stuck in the same patterns forever, is absolutely not your true destiny or what you're meant for. That heavy, burdensome identity you've been carrying around with you, the one that was shaped and molded by trauma, by shame, by failure, by rejection, that's not the version of you who gets to live the reality you've glimpsed in your highest visions and most inspired moments. That future reality you keep dreaming about is actually waiting for you right now. And here's something mind-blowing: it already exists in this present moment. Not somewhere far off in the distant future, but existing right now in a parallel vibration, in a different frequency that you align with and tune into. Not something you chase after desperately or struggle to create from nothing. But here's the hard truth that we need to confront together. You cannot access that reality, that timeline, that version of your life while you're emotionally addicted to your past experiences and old familiar feelings. You can't keep reliving guilt over past mistakes, resentment toward people who hurt you, or self-doubt about your worthiness and simultaneously expect expansion, growth, and transformation to flood into your life. You can't show up as yesterday's version of yourself with all its limitations and expect to collapse a timeline that you've never actually met before, never aligned with energetically. In the comments section below, drop one single word, just one word, that captures and represents the energy you're consciously choosing to carry forward with you from this moment on. Maybe it's alignment, maybe it's ease, maybe it's power, maybe it's something uniquely yours that resonates deeply with your soul. Let that word be a small but profoundly significant declaration, a signal that you're sending out like a quantum seed you plant not just in this comment space but directly into the quantum field itself, programming a new reality, breaking the loop your body has already chosen. So what do we do about all of this? In this video, we're going to completely break this repetitive loop that's been running your life. We're going to meet the old self face to face, not to judge it harshly or condemn it, but to truly see it, to honor what it taught us during its time, and then to consciously release it with gratitude. Together, you and I will enter the quantum field today, not merely with words or intellectual concepts, but with genuine vibration, with the full electromagnetic signature of your being. And I'm going to personally guide you through the process of collapsing the energetic imprint of the past so that you can finally inhabit and embody the version of you who already lives the life you've been persistently asking for, praying for, desperately wanting. Because here's what the quantum field is trying to tell you: it's not asking you to try harder, to push more, to force things into being. It's simply waiting patiently for you to tune in differently, to change your frequency, to shift your state of being. You are not stuck in your current circumstances because your future isn't real or possible. You're stuck because your identity, your sense of self, keeps collapsing the same exact reality over and over again, like a record player with a scratch disc, repeating the same section endlessly. But once you genuinely shift that internal identity, once you release the weight, now take a deep, slow breath. Something is already stirring and awakening within you, and it's not coming from outside you, from some external source or person. It's awakening from deep within, from the part of you that's always known the truth. Are you ready to meet the version of you that's already free, already liberated, already living your dream life? Let's continue this journey together. Your body's chemical addiction to being you. You wake up in the morning, same bed, same ceiling above you, same thoughts immediately flooding through your mind, same internal narrative whispering through your consciousness before you even fully open your eyes. I hope today is different, you might think, with a hint of desperation. But the precise moment your feet hit the floor and you stand up to face another day, your body has already chosen otherwise, already locked into a familiar pattern. Why does this happen so automatically? Because long before your conscious mind begins to create thoughts and make decisions, your subconscious identity has already taken complete control over your experience. You don't actually step into a genuinely new day full of fresh possibilities. Instead, you step right back into an old self again, replaying yesterday's version of you. The human body remembers everything. It remembers who you've been throughout your entire life, not merely as abstract memory stored somewhere in your brain, but as actual biology, as chemistry, as cellular patterns running through your entire system. Emotions become neurochemical patterns that your body grows familiar with and even craves. Behaviors become automatic sequences that fire without conscious thought. Over time, you stop genuinely responding to the present moment with fresh awareness and openness. You simply replay the past over and over again until the present moment stops feeling alive, vibrant, and full of potential, and starts feeling like deja vu, like you're living the same day repeatedly. According to the groundbreaking research of Dr. Joe Dispenza, by the time you reach 35 years old, approximately 95% of who you are consists of memorized behaviors, emotional reactions that play out automatically, unconscious habits you don't even realize you're performing, hardwired attitudes, limiting beliefs, and perceptions about yourself and the world. In other words, most of what you call you, your identity, isn't really you at all in the truest sense. It's programming that was installed, conditioning you absorbed from your environment, patterns you picked up without conscious choice. It's the old self running on autopilot, and it's completely running the show of your life without you even realizing it. Your perception rewrites your chemistry. Bruce Lipton, the revolutionary cellular biologist, expands this understanding even further with a profound insight. The moment you genuinely change your perception of reality is the exact moment you literally rewrite the chemistry of your body at a cellular level. Which means that who you're being chemically, emotionally, energetically in each moment is actively writing and creating the reality you're living and experiencing. This is precisely why change can feel so incredibly hard for most people, why it seems nearly impossible to break free from old patterns. Because you're not just trying to shift your thoughts or change your thinking, you're trying to shift the emotional addiction that your body has developed toward being that particular version of you. The self who automatically expects disappointment in relationships. The self who's always prepared for abandonment because it's happened before. The self who doesn't believe deep down they're worthy of big, beautiful things manifesting in their life, not because they're fundamentally broken or flawed, but because somewhere long ago in their history, they unconsciously decided it was safer, less painful to expect less from life. You didn't consciously choose to live this way, with these limitations and protective walls. But at some crucial point in your past, your nervous system made a decision that suffering was familiar. And what's familiar to your system becomes what feels safe, even when it hurts you, even when it's actively destroying your joy and possibility. This right here is the real prison that most people never escape from. Not the outer world with its circumstances and conditions, but the identity we're deeply afraid to leave behind, even when it's making us physically sick, even when it's stealing our joy and aliveness every single day, even when we know deep down in our bones that it's not who we truly are at our essence. So let me ask you something with genuine compassion, not with judgment or criticism. What emotions do you feel the most often throughout your days? Is it regret about past choices, anger at people who wronged you, shame about who you've been, insecurity about your worth, doubt about your capabilities and potential? Your emotional broadcast creates your magnetic field. What if those emotions that dominate your inner landscape aren't random occurrences, aren't just happening to you? What if they're actually rehearsed patterns, practice states that you've become unconsciously skilled at generating? What if your body is actually addicted to those emotional signals, craves them like a drug, because they reinforce the chemical identity of the old self, confirming, yes, this is who I am? And if that's genuinely true, what kind of reality do you think that emotional broadcast, that consistent vibrational signal, is attracting into your experience day after day? Here's the brutal truth that most people never directly confront, never look at honestly. Your old self is not just a memory of who you used to be. It's an active magnetic field that you're broadcasting right now, and the quantum field is listening, receiving, responding. Not to your affirmations that you speak in the mirror, not to your vision board hanging on your wall with pretty pictures, but to the emotional signature, the vibrational frequency you carry 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. You may say with your mouth, I want love, while your baseline feeling, your emotional home, vibrates at the frequency of I am not enough, I am unworthy. And guess what? You will unconsciously repel intimacy, push away the very connection you claim to desire. You may spend hours visualizing abundance, imagining money flowing to you, while your emotional truth resonates at the frequency of fear, lack, and scarcity. And you will unconsciously block opportunities that come your way, not because you don't deserve them or aren't worthy, but because your nervous system has not yet updated to match the version of you who is genuinely aligned with receiving abundance. That's exactly why you can read all the manifestation books, take all the expensive courses, repeat all the positive mantras religiously, and still feel completely stuck in the same place you've been for years. Because healing and transformation isn't just mental, isn't just about changing your thoughts. It's vibrational, it's embodied deeply in your body, it's cellular, happening at the level where your body and energy field intersect. Becoming the observer changes everything. So, what do we do now with this awareness? First, we bring conscious awareness to this pattern that's been running our lives, not to shame ourselves for it, not to feel bad or guilty, but simply to see it clearly, to recognize it for what it is. To recognize that who you've been up until this point is not a fixed reality, not your unchangeable destiny. It's a practice, a vibrational pattern, a habit, one that you can consciously stop rehearsing the exact moment you decide to no longer identify with it, no longer claim it as who you are. This isn't about self-hatred or rejecting yourself. This is about self-liberation, about giving yourself permission to stop carrying the enormous weight of the version of you that only existed to survive a version of the world, a set of circumstances that no longer exists in your present reality. And here's the beautiful paradox that quantum physics reveals to us. The moment you start to observe your old self without completely merging with it, without saying, this is me, when you witness it happening from the eyes of your higher self, your awareness, you become the observer rather than the observed. And in quantum terms, according to the observer effect, that shift in perspective changes absolutely everything about what's possible. The observer collapses the wave of infinite possibilities into specific form. The moment you become aware of your old self as a pattern running in your system, as a program playing out, you are no longer the pattern itself. You are the consciousness watching the pattern, witnessing it, and that awareness, that conscious observation, that's the first crack of light breaking through into a whole new reality waiting to emerge. Before we go deeper into this transformation, I want to invite you into something real, something meaningful. If you've been feeling like something's finally making sense as you watch this, if a part of you is realizing and remembering your own power that's been dormant, tap the like button if you just had an aha moment, because like genuinely attracts like in the quantum field. And subscribe to this channel. Stay with this space, grow with us. The Law of Vibrational Coherence. We've been told to ask the universe, to believe with faith, to visualize our desires clearly. And yet so many of us are still waiting, still hoping, waiting for something to finally click into place, for the money to arrive in our bank account, for the right person to appear in our life, for the breakthrough to finally happen after all this time. And when it doesn't manifest, when our dreams remain just out of reach, we question ourselves relentlessly. We wonder if we're doing manifestation wrong somehow, if we're blocked by some invisible obstacle, if maybe we're just not meant for more in this lifetime. But what if the actual problem isn't that your desire is too big or unrealistic? What if the real issue is that your vibration, your energetic state, is still too familiar, still too aligned with your old identity? Here's the truth that most manifestation teachings completely leave out, the piece that makes everything finally make sense. The quantum field doesn't respond to your words, the things you say out loud. It doesn't react to your vision board covered in images of your dream life. It doesn't even care what you say you want with your conscious mind. It mirrors back only one thing with absolute precision: your state of being, who you are vibrationally in each moment. This is the law of vibrational coherence at work. In quantum terms, coherence is when your heart, your mind, your emotions, and your actions are all perfectly aligned together, pointing in the same direction, broadcasting the same frequency. It's the energetic yes that the universe is patiently waiting for, not the kind of yes that you write down in a manifestation journal or speak aloud once in the morning during your routine, but the kind of yes that is embodied fully, felt throughout your entire being, lived consistently, demonstrated through every choice you make. You cannot outmanifest your frequency, cannot bypass this fundamental law. The quantum field doesn't hear, "I want abundance," when your consistent feeling throughout the day is, "I am not enough." It doesn't see your dream home that you visualized if you're living inside fear and worry about money. It doesn't notice your desire for a loving relationship if your emotional home, where you spend most of your time, is loneliness, jealousy, or unworthiness. Not because the field is cruel or playing favorites, but because it is exact, precise, mathematical in how it responds to vibration. The mirror principle of reality creation. Think of the quantum field like a perfect mirror reflecting back to you. You don't raise your hand and expect the reflection to raise the other hand independently. The reflection must follow exactly what you do. You have to shift truly, genuinely, at the core of your being for the reflection in the mirror to follow and change. The issue plaguing most of us is that we are trying to manifest from our current identity, using the limited lens and perspective of who we are right now to try and access a timeline, a reality, that belongs to a completely different version of us, a version we haven't embodied yet. But the future you, the one already living the life you desire and dream about, doesn't just think differently with positive thoughts. They are different at a fundamental level. They feel different emotions coursing through their body. They walk into rooms differently with a different energy. They speak from a deeper place of truth and power. They've shifted from wanting and lacking to being and having, from hoping something might happen to embodying the reality that it already has. Your thoughts and emotions are vibrational broadcasting. Let's break this down even more scientifically. Get really clear on the mechanics of how this works. Every single thought you think sends out an electrical signal into the field around you. Every single emotion you feel radiates magnetically, creating waves of energy. Together, your thoughts and emotions combined create a vibrational broadcast, like a radio signal constantly transmitting a clear message to the quantum field surrounding you. And that message being transmitted isn't what you want or desire. The message is who you are, what you're being, the identity you're embodying right now. So, ask yourself honestly, what are you broadcasting out into the field? Is your inner frequency truly congruent with, matching, the reality you say you're ready for? Or are you still broadcasting lack, fear, doubt, and impatience throughout your day, while simultaneously trying to... And this isn't just about positive thinking, about slapping affirmations on top of your real feelings. That's surface level, that's band-aid consciousness. This is about energetic truth, about what's genuinely happening in your nervous system, in your body, in your field. Because the universe, the quantum field, doesn't respond to what's on your lips, the words you speak. It responds to what's in your nervous system, the actual state your body is holding. In the comments below, drop one thing that you deeply desire to manifest in your life right now. Maybe it's money and financial freedom, maybe it's a happy and healthy relationship, maybe it's a healthy and fit body, maybe it's something uniquely yours that your soul is calling for. Let this be a small but profoundly significant declaration, a signal to the universe you send not just in this comment space but directly into the quantum field, programming what you're available to receive. The observer effect, you are selecting, not attracting. One of the most powerful insights from Heisenberg and the observer effect in quantum physics is this fundamental truth. The act of observing collapses potential possibilities into actual form and manifestation. But here's the twist that changes everything. It's not just that you observe reality happening around you. It's that who you are while observing, your state of being, determines exactly what collapses from the field of infinite potential into your tangible experience. Neville Goddard, the mystical teacher, said it beautifully and simply. You are not manifesting something new. You are selecting from what already exists. And who you're being right now is the selector, the tuning mechanism that determines which reality you experience. Let that sink deeply into your awareness for a moment. You are not attracting a future that doesn't exist yet. You are tuning into one specific future from infinite possibilities, selecting it from the field, aligning with it vibrationally. But you can't align with something, can't tune into a frequency that your current self has never met before, has no resonance with. That's why the shift that matters is internal, happening inside you first. You become the version of you that naturally attracts what you've been trying so hard to chase after and grab. You don't pull things toward you with effort. You pull yourself up vibrationally to where those things already exist. This is exactly why manifestation without identity work, without becoming someone new, will always feel like pushing a boulder uphill with all your strength. You're trying to build a beautiful future on the foundation of an outdated self, an old identity. And it doesn't matter how beautiful the blueprint is, how perfect your vision, if the ground underneath hasn't shifted, hasn't been prepared. The structure you're trying to build will collapse eventually. So here's the question that matters more than any vision board you could create, more than any technique you could learn. Who do I need to become to be a vibrational match to what I desire? Not in some distant future when conditions are perfect. Now, in this present moment, in my thought patterns, in my feeling states, in my actions and choices, in my embodiment of a new identity. When you become, the universe reflects, because when you genuinely become that version, when you shift your being, the universe reflects back to you not gradually over years, but instantly in many ways. Not always in immediate physical form that you can touch, although sometimes it is that fast, but in energy shifts you can feel, in signs and synchronicities that confirm you're on the right path, in sensations running through your body that something fundamental has changed. You'll know because you'll feel it viscerally, that gentle pull, that sense of rightness that says you've tuned into something real, something true. You'll stop feeling like you're trying so hard, forcing and pushing, and start feeling like you're in the right place at the right time, doing the right thing as the right version of you. And that alignment, that's when the field begins to bend reality around you, when the impossible becomes possible, when miracles become normal. Ready to discover who your future self already is, who you're meant to become. You don't need to create the new you from nothing. You need to remember them, recognize them. The multiverse. All versions of you exist now. There's a version of you who already lives fully in the frequency of everything you've ever asked for, everything you've ever desired. Not a future version that doesn't exist yet, not a hypothetical ideal that might never be real. This might sound radical or too good to be true, but quantum physics has been telling us for decades, showing us through experiment after experiment. Reality is not linear, not a straight line. Time is not fixed, not moving in only one direction. You are not walking down a straight line from point A to point B, slowly building toward a future self that will exist someday if you work hard enough. What actually exists in the quantum field is a vast, infinite field of now moments, all occurring simultaneously right now, all available and accessible depending on what frequency you tune into, what vibration you match. In quantum language, physicists call this the multiverse, infinite parallel realities existing at once. In spiritual language, we call this divine potential, infinite possibility. Either way, regardless of the terminology you prefer, the message is exactly the same. The you who is thriving, who is healed, who is empowered, who is magnetic, they are not on the way, not coming someday. They are already here, existing now, in a different frequency, a different vibrational pattern, a different state of being that you can access. And your task, your work, is not to chase them desperately. Your task is to collapse the distance between where you are vibrationally and who they are, by becoming vibrationally compatible, matching their frequency, meeting your higher self. But let's pause for a moment, take a breath, because this isn't just abstract philosophy or interesting theory. This is deeply practical, applicable to your actual life right now. So, ask yourself this powerful question. If your higher self were already living inside of you right now, inhabiting your body, what would they think about throughout their day? How would they breathe? Different from how you breathe now. How would they walk down the street, carry themselves? How would they speak to strangers with confidence? How would they handle money and abundance? How would they face the unknown with courage? Would they still be clinging desperately to doubt, to old fears? Would they still be replaying the story of rejection from years ago that you can't let go of? Would they be settling for less because maybe this is all I get, maybe I should be grateful for crumbs? No, your higher self vibrates from trust, from deep alignment, from grounded confidence and magnetic calm that draws everything toward them. They don't manifest through effort, through forcing, through desperation. They attract through coherence, through being a clear signal that the universe can match easily. Their energy speaks before they even open their mouth to say a word, and everything in their life, from relationships to health to wealth to purpose, responds accordingly, flowing naturally. Because here's a truth most people miss entirely, never understand. The universe doesn't rearrange itself because you're worthy or deserving, although you are. It rearranges because you're resonant, because you match the frequency of what you're calling in. And resonance is not something you beg for on your knees. It's not something you chase desperately. It's something you become through conscious choice. That's why the most powerful shift you can make today, right now in this moment, isn't external. It's not about changing your circumstances or getting something you don't have. It's internal. It's choosing to stop identifying with the old story that limits you and start aligning with the new one that expands you. And not because it's already physically here in form, but because you've decided to meet it vibrationally first, to become the frequency before you see the evidence. You walk in faith first, embodying the new identity. Then the path appears beneath your feet. The way opens up, reality shifts. Visualizing your new self. So let's go deeper into this right now. Take a moment and close your eyes if you can, or soften your gaze. Imagine yourself walking into a room, any room, the version of you who already lives the life you desire, who already embodies everything you've been reaching for, is standing there waiting for you. Feel their presence not as something distant or mystical or impossible, but as someone familiar, someone you recognize, because they are you. They've always been you, just waiting patiently for you to remember, to wake up. Look at how they carry themselves in that room, and in its place, they've allowed a new identity to emerge and take form, one built on trust, on abundance, on thriving. Now ask them, speak to this future version of yourself. What did you let go of to become this free? What did you release? Listen, feel their answer in your body. Because the new self is not built by adding more knowledge, more techniques, more information. It's revealed by subtracting, by peeling away layers of programming that was never yours, pain that you've been carrying that doesn't serve you, pretense and masks you don't need anymore. Until all that's left is essence, pure soul, pure truth, pure alignment with who you really are. Make sure you share this video with your friends and family who need to hear this message today. For you, it may be just clicking share, but for someone in your life, it may be a ray of hope today. Someone who has lost hope in achieving their desires or changing their reality, someone who is in deep misery and needs this reminder of their power. By sharing, you're spreading positive energy and transformation, and that positive act will return to help you manifest what you commented about earlier. This is the shift that changes everything. You are not becoming something foreign and new, you are remembering something ancient and true. You are not constructing a new reality from scratch. You are tuning into one that already exists, waiting for you. And here's where it gets truly magical, where the quantum mechanics become lived experience. The moment you do this, the moment you stop identifying with the old frequency of limitation and start vibrating as the new self or possibility, the field responds immediately. Suddenly, at first, you have a thought you've never had before, fresh insight. A person reaches out unexpectedly with exactly what you needed. An intuitive pull towards something appears, and your old self would have ignored it, but now you follow it. The more you follow that flow, trust that guidance, the more the new timeline stabilizes in your experience, becomes your new normal. You begin to notice synchronicities everywhere, meaningful coincidences, perfect timing, doors opening just when you need them. Not because you got lucky, because you're no longer on the frequency of resistance, of blocking. You're on the frequency of reception, of allowing, of being open to miracles. And here's the most beautiful part that brings tears to my eyes. The old self doesn't have to be destroyed with violence or hatred. It just has to be retired with love and gratitude, thanked for its service, honored for how it protected you and kept you alive. Released gently because it was never bad or wrong, it was just outdated, like an operating system that kept you functional but not free, surviving but not thriving. So let it go now, consciously release it, and step into the self who already knows how the story ends beautifully. The self who's already walking in alignment with the future you thought you had to chase desperately. You are not attracting your new life from a distance. You are aligning with the version of you that's already living it, already being it. Are you ready to meet them fully, to become them? Let's not just talk about change as a concept anymore. Let's feel it in our bodies. Let's become it through action. Because no information, no insight, no teaching, no matter how powerful, will ever transform your life unless it becomes embodied, lived, integrated into who you are. The quantum identity reset ritual. This is where the shift becomes real and permanent. This is where the new timeline stabilizes through intentional ritual, through energetic declaration, through full body choice and commitment. Right now, you're going to guide yourself into a quantum identity reset not by force or strain, not by trying harder, but by consciously collapsing the identity that no longer serves your future and stepping fully into the one that already does, already exists. Let's begin this together. Step 1. Name the old self. You can't let go of what you don't recognize clearly, so give your old identity a name right now. It could be a single word, a nickname, a symbol, something that captures and represents who you've been up until this moment. The you that's been looping through fear, through doubt, through limitation, and playing small. Maybe it's the doubter, maybe it's the overachiever who never feels good enough, maybe it's the one who settled for less, maybe it's the invisible one. Whatever name comes to you intuitively, without overthinking. Step 2. The ritual of release. Now, visualize yourself carrying that version of you, that old identity, like a heavy backpack weighing down your shoulders. Like the image from this video, imagine dragging a suitcase behind you, filled with old memories, outdated stories, limiting patterns, and painful experiences. And now, in your mind's eye, see yourself stopping on the path, just stopping, standing still, taking that heavy weight off your back, unbuckling it, setting it down gently on the ground beside you. You don't need to destroy it violently or hate it. You don't need to feel guilty about releasing it. You just need to consciously release it, let it go, leave it behind. Picture yourself walking away from it now, lighter in your step, taller in your posture, clearer in your energy and vision. You've collapsed the energy that kept you bound to the past, kept you stuck in old loops. And in doing so, you freed up space in the quantum field for a completely new frequency to emerge and take root. Step 3. Embody the new self. Who are you now? Without that weight. Feel it in this present moment, not as imagination, but as truth. Stand up if you can, or sit in the posture of the version of you who already lives in complete alignment. The one who trusts their intuition completely without second guessing. The one who radiates peace and confidence naturally. The one who no longer needs to chase anything because they are what they once desperately sought. How would they breathe right now? Breathe that way. How would they speak if someone asked them a question? How would they look around the room with those eyes? How would they respond to challenge or obstacle with fear or with calm knowing? Shift into that version now, fully, not pretending, becoming. This is not fake it till you make it. This is align until you attract. Step 4. Anchor it with a declaration. Now, repeat the following phrase, not mechanically like a robot, but with presence flooding through you, with embodiment, with conscious choice and power. I no longer collapse the past. I tune into who I truly am. Say it again. Feel it deeper. I no longer collapse the past. I tune into who I truly am. Let those words be a frequency running through your cells, not just a mantra you repeat. Let them cut through the old signal like a knife, severing the cord. Let them echo in your cells, in your bones, in every atom of your being. You're not just saying empty words, you're becoming them, you're declaring a new reality into existence. Because every single cell in your body, every atom in your being is listening right now with absolute attention. And more importantly, so is the quantum field itself, receiving your signal, your new broadcast. As you vibrate as the new self with this clear intention, the field begins to rearrange possibilities around you. Possibilities that were once invisible, that you couldn't see before, begin to surface and become visible. People who match your new energy, who resonate with who you're becoming, begin to appear in your life seemingly out of nowhere. Your outer world doesn't shift because you begged for it desperately or forced it, it shifts because you became someone new, someone different. You are now walking in resonance with your desires, in alignment with your dreams. And that resonance, that alignment, that is your new reality taking shape. Step 5. Make it a daily practice. Here's the final piece that most people miss, where they fall back into old patterns. Ritual is not just a one-time event you do once and forget about. It's a doorway, a portal, a frequency you revisit intentionally every single time the old self tries to return and reclaim its territory. And it will return sometimes not to sabotage you or because you failed, but simply to be witnessed one more time, to be reminded gently that you've outgrown it, evolved beyond it. And each time you choose again consciously, each time you return to the new identity, you reinforce the new vibration, strengthen it, make it more permanent and stable. So here's your practice moving forward. Starting tomorrow morning, every single morning before the world comes rushing in with its demands and distractions, before you check your phone or talk to anyone, ask yourself this one powerful question. Which version of me will collapse reality today? And then choose. Consciously, lovingly, powerfully choose the version that aligns with where you want to go, not where you've been. Choose the self. You've reset your identity in this moment. You've collapsed the past and released it. You've entered the field as someone fundamentally new. When you finally let go of who you were truly let go, not just intellectually but energetically, reality begins to rearrange itself around who you truly are at your core. Not someday in the distant future, not after a year of hard work and struggle, but now, starting in this present moment, because the shift doesn't begin when the external world changes first. It begins when you change internally, when your vibration shifts, when your identity transforms. And maybe for the first time in a long time, you're actually feeling it right now, that lightness in your chest, that strange but beautiful mix of peace and possibility flowing through you, that inner whisper that says clearly, something has shifted, something is different. That's not your imagination playing tricks. That's not wishful thinking or delusion. That's the quantum field responding to your new signal, your transformed state. Reality has always been more malleable, more flexible than we were taught to believe. Not fixed like concrete, not rigid and unchangeable, but fluid, dynamic, alive, and waiting not for you to chase it desperately, but for you to tune into it, match its frequency. This is how quantum manifestation actually works in practice, how the mechanics operate. You don't drag your future toward you with effort and strain. You rise to meet it by elevating your vibration. You become the frequency of the life you desire, and the external world, by universal law, by physics, must conform and match. Not because it's magic or woo-woo, but because it's mathematics, it's quantum mechanics, it's the fundamental way reality operates. Because your vibration is the architecture of your reality, the blueprint. And when your vibration changes fundamentally, your life cannot stay the same, it's impossible. Look around you right now. Nothing may seem different yet in your physical circumstances, but you are different, and that alone changes absolutely everything going forward. Because from this point forward, every thought you consciously choose, every emotion you allow yourself to embody, every belief you reinforce through repetition is either aligning you with your expanded timeline or calling you back into the past, back into the old identity. And you've already made your choice here today. You've already decided. So now, the real practice begins not in theory or philosophy, but in actual life, in the moments that test you. When an old emotion rises up, unexpectedly fear, doubt, unworthiness, you'll remember this moment and say, "This is not me anymore. This is just a residue, an echo of who I used to be." When an old pattern tries to play out automatically, when you catch yourself about to react the way you always have, you'll pause consciously and say with certainty, "I no longer collapse that version of me. I choose differently now." When fear whispers its familiar warnings in your ear, you'll respond with presence, with breath, with trust. When doubt returns like an old friend knocking on your door, you'll breathe deeper, speak softer to yourself, act from a place the old self never had access to before. You are no longer broadcasting the past into the quantum field. You've changed your signal, tuned to a new station, and that change, that shift in frequency, has consequences beautiful, unimaginable, soul expanding consequences that will unfold. Some you'll recognize right away, immediately, unexpected clarity flooding your mind, elevated synchronicities appearing everywhere, people showing up differently around you, responding to your new energy. Others will be more subtle, but just as real and significant. A sudden sense of alignment that feels like coming home, ideas that flow effortlessly without force, moments of divine timing that confirm beyond doubt you're finally walking with your true self, your highest self. If this video has hit 1000 likes, I'll drop another part with secrets from ancient wisdom that will absolutely blow your mind and expand your understanding even further. So hit that like button now to help us reach that goal together. So, as we close this sacred container we've created together, as we complete this powerful transmission, I want to ask you something deeper than just a like or a subscribe. If this video woke something inside you that's been sleeping, if it reminded you that there is, and if this space has felt like more than just content you consume and forget, if it has felt like remembrance, like coming home, like truth, then come closer to this community. This isn't just a channel with videos. It's a frequency, a vibrational space, a home for those of us consciously collapsing timelines and rising into the versions of ourselves we were born to be. So subscribe not just to stay connected to videos, but to stay coherent with this energy, stay aligned with this frequency, stay elevated in this consciousness. Because the real shift isn't just personal and individual, it's collective, it's happening to thousands of us simultaneously. And the more of us who vibrate as our highest truth, who embody our most powerful self, the more this entire world begins to reflect that truth back to us, the more reality itself transforms. You are not alone in this journey of awakening. You are part of a field of beings, a community, a movement of people awakening to their quantum nature, remembering their infinite potential. And now that you've remembered, now that you've seen the truth, you can't forget it, you can't unsee it. The old you has served its purpose beautifully and can rest now. The new you is already living the next chapter of your story. And reality, it's listening to every word, every feeling, every choice you make from this moment forward. But here's what nobody tells you about transformation, about shifting timelines. The shift is one thing, maintaining it is another challenge entirely. Because the quantum field will test you, your old patterns will try to return, your environment will try to pull you back into who you were. And if you don't know the maintenance code, the specific practices that keep you locked into your new timeline, you'll find yourself slipping back without even realizing it's happening. In the next video, I'm revealing the exact quantum maintenance protocol, the daily practices that the most successful manifestors use to stay locked into their desired timeline, the mistakes that cause people to collapse back into their old reality, and the one morning ritual that reprograms your entire nervous system in under 10 minutes. This is the missing piece that most manifestation teachers never share because they don't understand it themselves. Click the video appearing on your screen right now to discover the maintenance code before your old timeline tries to reclaim you. We'll see you in the next frequency, in the next timeline, in the next level of your awakening.